All right, welcome to another episode of the Kings of Causeway podcast. I'm your host, Pat Burke, joined by Ryan Coffey right after the conclusion of Game 5. Fuck.
Yeah, that was
Fuck.
not a good game.
What are we doing?
We looked like shit from the start, and although we had a chance, we did not deserve to win that game. But had a chance up until the very end. Honestly, looked like it was going to go our way in OT once we picked up some momentum, and then Matt Grzelcyk is a weak bitch.
I mean, but even before that, it shouldn't have gotten to that point. We had a handful, more than a handful, a generous portion of game-winning opportunities in the third and early on in OT. I'm not going to argue with you. Matt Grzelcyk is a fucking bitch. I don't know what I'm feeling this about both of the coaches for Boston in the playoffs right now. What in the actual hell are they doing? We've got Jim Montgomery, possibly whatever it was with Brazeau, and you and I are both Brazeau fans, but like, why screw with somebody that's on a tear right now? You take out Beecher, you take out Shattenkirk and put in Grzelcyk, who A, was your worst defenseman of the year, B, hasn't played yet for a fucking reason. And we're gonna answer and of course he gets bitched by Tavares. Of course that's how this fucking goes, because it's exactly what happened fucking last year.
On top of getting bitched,
this is exactly what fucking happened.
On top of him getting bitched, then he basically, like the other two defense were in a good position to clear the puck, but he then goes off Grzelcyk's skate, and he like kind of kicks it out into front. So like on top of him getting beat, no awareness of the puck, and just
Matt Grzelcyk, you fucking eat your pizza with a knife and fork, you bum. Get the fuck off my team, bro. Don't be here anymore. I don't want you. Nobody wants. This was terrible. This was terrible. And it wasn't just that play. He was awful all game. He is a liability. We've known this for months. What is Jim Montgomery doing? This was criminal. Because, yeah, I know we just won 2 games in Toronto, but this is a Toronto team that is due at home.
Yeah.
We just risked the biscuit to give Brazeau his first bit of playing time and to put Matt Grzelcyk in for what? Sell value?
I definitely don't agree with the Grzelcyk going in for Shattenkirk, but at a bigger level, I'm sure Montgomery's thought process going into this was Austin Matthews is out. We have to it doesn't matter who's out there. We just need to execute our game plan. And let's be fair. They did not come out looking to execute the game plan.
Whatever he did with the chemistry completely threw him off. This was not the same Bruins team. Even the one that lost in game 2, this wasn't that Bruins team. This was a Bruins team that was confused, out of sorts, tripping over each other. They looked like us playing FIFA, just running into one another and tackling each other in the first period. I'm sorry. This is on coaching. This is unacceptable.
I would argue it was more on the execution of the team for the majority of the game. At the end, it could have came down to coaching. I'd prefer Grzelcyk wasn't out there over Shattenkirk, but at the end of the day, no Austin Matthews. We should have came out way better. We got outshot 14-2.
2.
That's not on the coach.
In a playoff game, 2 shots in a period.
That in my eyes is not on the coach, though. That's on the execution of the players.
That's fair,
I don't think he saw a scenario where this
roster.
I don't think he saw a scenario where this was going to be a 1-1 game if we executed our game plan. We just didn't do anything right. And that's, a couple of the moves, I think getting Brazeau in there was fine. I just don't like the Grzelcyk one. And him being the person that cost us highlights it. But yeah, I don't know.
Kevin Shattenkirk as a veteran is in your lineup for one reason at this point in his career, and it is purely because he has been in the room before when good things happen in the playoffs. Like, you're not looking for a goal and an assist from him every game. Like, that's not his role. His role in there is to be on the ice where you can look over when you're frazzled, when you're Brazo and you're like, oh my God, first play, what the fuck? That's the guy that you look to is like, young buck, I've been here. We're going to be okay. Matt Grzelcyk is shit on a spoon.
Yeah.
That for his like it is I'm baffled at the way this team played today. I'm baffled initially, I'm baffled at the chemistry screw-ups that happened pregame. I'm baffled at the energy level exerted in the first 25 minutes because we didn't start the second all that great either. I'm
still baffled that the referees can just continue to just blow call after call in this entire series. I mean, I sent you a clip of the Dallas game where people are taking each other's heads off, but meanwhile we have Tyler Bertuzzi getting barely not even cross-checked, just for the third time in the entire series gets a cross-check call. I mean, it's ridiculous. Then Marchand had a chance to kind of rip one in the slot there at the end. He has a stick hanging out of his arm as he skates away. He clearly got hooked.
There's two instances where our guys are up against the board just skating away, arms up, and there's just a stick wrapped up in their pads. It's like, sirs, I physically, I want to know what you think happened for it to get in this position. I just want to know. I genuinely, like, I took physics. I would like to know what you're as it's skating there attached to their padding.
Like, I'm pretty sure Marchand chose that he wanted to, instead of shooting in overtime from the slot from 2 feet away, pretty sure he chose to continue taking that puck to the corner. Like, no, he couldn't get a shot off because he got hooked.
Because
there's a stick hanging from his arm. I mean, that's so blatant to me. I mean,
no, it was
reality
obvious,
is it should have never got to this point, though. Let's be honest.
It shouldn't have. We should have ended it. We had chances to end it. This is not, this is the coaching decisions, the referee calls might have contributed in the end, but at the end of the day, this is on the boys. Like, there was more than enough opportunities despite all of that to still come away. And just couldn't do it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm scared fucking shitless that we're going to be sitting here, after a game 7, one way or the other. This seems like a lot like last year where we lost it tough here. We're going to get our asses kicked in Toronto, and then it's going to be nervy in game 7.
Yeah. I mean, you better come out swinging, that's for sure. Better be a better effort in period 1. I think the coach does have a tough decision now because realistically, you should go back to Sway. I mean, he didn't really display anything tonight.
No. This is not on Jeremy. This is not on Jeremy Swayman whatsoever. That was 2-1 in overtime of a playoff game. If they track the XGs, Swayman robbed them of 2 or 3 goals.
He robbed them.
No,
so I feel like
Swayman. You roll him again. You roll him. You've now made your decision, at least for this series on the rotation. Maybe we can start differently come, the Florida series, whatever it might be. But this is Swayman's series now. Until he gets spanked 6-1, this is his.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think you can go back to Allmark at this point with the way they performed in front of him. Like, he's playing out of his mind. He clearly has Toronto's number.
It was a putrid display from the guys in black and gold, and it was one of those. But then
he's got to make decisions.
Right, it never looked right from the first 5 minutes. Like, it never looked like we were playing this game like an elimination game that also their best player had just pussied out of playing. Their best player had just decided my sickness, whatever the hell it is that we're not going to release because this is hockey, we don't release that kind of thing. My sickness, my illness is too strong. I can't play. And instead of just burying this team that was there to be buried, We said, ooh, you know what? We'll give you a couple of days and we'll send you home. We want to make this a fair fight? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you look across the league, the New York Rangers took care of the Capitals. I mean,
Carolina's
this
going to
this
take
isn't
care of
good.
New
This
York.
definitely isn't good. This is exactly like you said. You should be going into this game with their best player not on the ice, thinking
And just end them.
we should
Killer,
kick
just
the
go out
shit
there
out
and
of them.
end them. End them. We should have been skating hard, fast, even if nothing was going on. Hard, fast, setting a tone. We were sloppy,
The first 10 minutes
discombobulated, and
weren't.
all over the place. It was nuts. It was
It
ridiculous.
wasn't even like we came out just hitting either, and we're just like
No,
they were
exactly.
getting more
It
plays.
was just,
We didn't do anything for 10 minutes. We literally weren't
and that
playing hockey for
to
10
me,
minutes. So that
to
was
me, that's
great.
on coaching. To me, that's on coaching. To me, that's on how do you not have the boys dialed all the way in? And it's all, but at the same point, how are you as a professional hockey player not dialed all the way in for this? How are you not just like chomping at the bit, ready to go? How are you coming out there that lackluster, top down? This wasn't one guy was showing some laziness or some don't give a shit or whatever the hell you want to call it. This was top down. Nobody wanted to make a hockey play, take a hockey hit, give a hockey hit, do anything except Jeremy Swayman, who's got to be standing there about 8 minutes in at that first time out, being like, what in the fuck is going on?
Yeah, the him and the TD Garden crowd, you could hear it. It was like crickets in there for 10 minutes because everyone was sitting there holding their breath. Honestly, for us to come out of period one tied 1-1 was a
It was a
godsend.
miracle. A miracle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We blew this game all around, and I'd love to like blame it on one person or the refs or things like that. In reality, we just didn't have the effort or the energy or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it, the gusto to come out.
It was everyone but Swayman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to criticize that kid. He stood on his head today while everybody around him was treating this as we've got 2 more games, guys. Like, we'll win 1 of 3. Like that's how they look like they were playing. That's how they look like they were playing until about 3.5 minutes left in the third. And that's not good enough at home in an elimination game when your opponent has basically thrown in the white towel in benching their captain from sickness. Not a fractured anything, not a dislocated anything, an illness.
Yeah, he gets a day and a half to rest up.
He's going to be fine. He
Not,
was skating this
good.
morning. He's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine. I think it doesn't matter who's on the ice. We just need to bring a different effort into the building, into the energy. I mean, it was just pathetic all around. Can't win a hockey game. There were so many ways we could have won that game, but can't win a hockey game or expect to when you come out like that. That's for sure.
And the reality of the situation is the Leafs are going to look at this as we've rattled them. This is exactly what happened to them last year. They're going to be feeling it. Let's just go out there and play. Whereas our guys are going to be sitting there like, fuck, this is exactly like last year. We absolutely have to win game 6. Let's grip our sticks really tight and go out there and skate like cagey assholes.
Yeah, and I think if the coaching did miss right here from the jump, the message needs to be let's lay some bodies. I think you saw it all the games we've won this series. It's because we came out swinging, laying hits, pressing on them early. I mean, if you're laying hits, you're not giving up good chances to begin the game, right? When everyone has their feet
to begin,
not giving up good chances. Like you might give up a few more chances, but if you're hitting, you're not giving them like the open ice, which we were giving them from the jump tonight.
Because we were doing the thing where we skated to where we might make a hit, but then nobody ever laid a hit.
Correct.
It was just like, spin, trip, fall, slide, do the glide, like whatever it was. They were skating like they were going to make the hit and then not actually making the hit. I'm sorry. To me, that screams lack of killer instinct. I think today reeked of no killer instinct, and that's a real concern. That's a real concern for me. Nobody that should have stepped up to do anything, period. Like at one point, maybe Pasternak was going to fight. But that was about as ballsy as any of our top 6 got all game. I know Coyle rattled a crossbar, but like
Yeah, we just
Nobody
didn't.
looked
We
like
didn't
they
even.
wanted to. Nobody looked like we wanted to send them to Cancun.
We
Nobody
didn't
looked like
have.
they wanted to be the asshole that sent these guys home.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Marshawn kind of laying that tackle down, even though he was getting mugged the whole time he had the puck. Like you thought that was it. Like every time we have done that this series, we seem to turn it on and click. So you'd
We
think,
didn't.
hey, if we don't have it tonight, let's use something like that to get us going. But we never even attempted it. Pat Maroon was a shell of himself. I mean, I didn't see him do shit out there. I mean, up and down the lineup, it was a failure. But Pete's in the comments saying, why can't they win in OT? I think can't use my favorite excuse, Pete, of saying that it's 3-on-3 in overtime because tonight was 5-on-5, and we. To be fair, I think we carried the very short amount of time we were.
No,
in
we absolutely did.
overtime,
We
and
absolutely did.
They
Had the
walked in on
opportunity.
one. They walked in on one break when we had three defenders back to one player,
And Matt Grizzly got pitched. Matt Grizzly got pitched. There's no
got
like
pitched.
that's what it was.
It out in front.
Like it was so obvious. It was so obvious what Tavares was coming down in there to do. He never once made a move onto his forehand. Like he was that was going to be his move. And Grizzly either didn't read it or wasn't strong enough or something and let that happen. Like that's something that should have been smeared along the wall into the back right away. As soon as he takes that off his forehand, you immediately drive with him that way. I only remember that because I used to have to whack guys to get them to go drive that way. Like, so that's what should, as soon as he went to that backhand, there was one of two options he was going to do. He was going to throw a shot on net from a bad angle and hope to catch me out as the goaltender, or he was going to drive with the outside and just shovel it and see what happens. As a defenseman at this level, you have to read that and take it to the corner and not give up the shovel. He wants to throw a backhand shot from a terrible, he's probably going to miss anyway. It's going to go 13 feet behind the net like it had been all game. Like this was not the first time Tavares did that. We had been taking care of this all game. And Grizzly fell the fuck asleep because he's a bum that eats pizza with a knife and fork.
And even up until the very last second, he kept it in a good enough position where Tavares just got a one-hander off, and both our defenders were there to then clear the puck. The problem was then Grizzly, because he was getting bitched, didn't have the awareness to realize, oh, I'm going to accidentally kick this out off my skate right to the slot. Like, that's the shit that separates a pro versus, whatever it may be. But he definitely cost us there. And I don't know about you. I was wondering why Grizzly was even out there that early in the overtime. And unfortunately, Brandon Carlo left the game, didn't come out for overtime. So I think, they took advantage of an opportunity they got. But I don't think Grizzly would have even been on the ice if Carlo was in. So another injury down, and just another reason why we should have came out firing.
Just come out and beat them down and just beat them. Just beat them.
Yeah.
We didn't look like a team that was going for the throat at any point. There was a brief period at the beginning of the second where we were carrying the play sufficiently, but nothing came of it. And then it was quickly over, and then it was back to Slop City. This was a terrible performance, and for somebody who's still a little shell shocked from last year, very concerning.
It's definitely very concerning if we come out like we did tonight on Thursday. I think we have an opportunity to just put it away again. Even if Austin Matthews is back, he's not going to be 100%, but I don't even want to be hearing.
It doesn't matter. We've beaten him when he's at 100%. We've beaten him at 100%. We can beat this team no matter who they throw out there. I don't understand why the effort level changes.
Yeah. I think that's really the only thing. I mean, that's the only thing to talk about at this point. There's nothing if you don't have the effort come Thursday, then good luck on Saturday, because they're going to fucking have all the momentum and they're going to come out ripping us in our own garden.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it'll be a repeat. Like I think this is a team that's going to struggle in overtime throughout the playoffs. I don't think this is a mentally strong team. Look at the games we've won versus the games this series that we've won have been by more than one goal, where we've given up the last goal. The games we've lost have been one goal. games where we've given up the last goal. Like, we have given up the last goal in every game this series.
It's a sign of
except game one. Except game one with the 5-1. But every other game except game one, we have given up the last goal, even in our wins.
It's a sign of our game effort. Like, obviously, the games that we won are the ones that we're giving the 100% effort. The games that are close are the ones we're losing because we're not giving 100% effort. So 100%.
To me, it's like they're not dialed in. To me, it's like they're not. They somehow can't focus for the entire game. Either you don't show up when the puck drops, or you dip out late. Like for me, it harkens back on that's coaching. Like that's coaching. Point blank. You know, you ask anybody what makes a really good coach is they get you dialed in when it matters the most. Like, it's the guy that makes sure that when you're going out to pitch the 16th inning in a playoff baseball game where you're going out there like, hey, this is all just over. I know you're garbage. You know you're garbage. But, like, I need you to try your best to not be garbage and go out there because one little fuck up can screw up everything. And they go out there and play. And they go out there and perform well. Like, to me, that's coaching. And I don't see that in this team.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think this series has highlighted for me that we really don't have a number one center. I mean, watching Coyle play, Coyle has not looked good.
No.
Which is, we've said a lot of good things. He's had one of the best regular seasons of his career, and we thought he kind of turned the corner. He looks like a
bum. He's a bum.
He's had so many opportunities this series, and he's done nothing. I mean, he ripped that one off the crossbar. That's about
I think he's got 2
points.
I think he's got 2 points.
Not good.
He's a bum. He's a bum. No. He's a bum.
Power plays also look like shit. We need to get that going. I feel like I don't know.
For me, this was the first day the power play looked really bad. They looked out of sorts. But I'm just chalking that up. Like, the whole team looked out of sorts the whole time. It wasn't like, oh my God, we didn't start on a power, like the power play looked like shit because the rest of everything looked like shit. Like, nobody was playing like anything like they were game 4, which is lost on me. And again, why I keep coming back to coaching. You gotta keep that focus level there. Like, you've got to find that balance between, like, hey, we're keeping everybody together, or hey, we're letting everybody go home. I don't know what decision was made or what the camaraderie, chemistry, or team building looked like in the last couple of days, but it looked like none of them had seen each other in 3 days. It looked like they just got cut loose after that Toronto game, and they all flew home, did their own thing, showed up at Warrior this morning, and was like, oh my God, hey, you're late. Oh my God, hey, what's going on? And then we all finally saw each other for the locker room for the game. Like, their chemistry was completely off.
Completely off. And I wanted to double check my math here, but 100%, like, it shouldn't even be coming down to playoffs. Like, we should be burying this team, but or power plays, sorry. But I did want to call out, this was like the least amount of power plays. We got one that's tonight. Not that we deserved many power plays, but it just goes to show it's like we had 8 and 1 in the first game, 6 and 8, and then 4 in this one. It's like the consistency. Like, I just feel like it's all over.
Well, and it was a 3-1 split, and it was it was there were a lot of calls that we didn't get, that I didn't want to get. Like, there was like, hey, that is playoff hockey. But then the exact same thing would happen on the other end, and they would get the call. I don't want either one. Like, this isn't me asking for more power plays. This is me saying, I want you to ref everything a little physically minded in the playoffs. That's what playoff hockey is. But if you're going to do it to one, and you're doing it to one, to which I have no problem. I don't want you giving us those penalties. I think that those are just plays that they are making on our guys, and our guys needs to be tougher. But when we go back down the other way and do the same thing, and you give that call, that is where we now have a problem. Because that is like, it's the consistency.
The too many men kicked it off, where it was clear as day Toronto had too many men. The guy jumped off the ice. Then us getting,
but they called us for icing instead. Somehow that superseded the too many men, even though there were too many men before the puck was all the way down the end.
Then them getting a power play on that scrum where everyone was fighting, like, that's insane. Like, it's not adding up. It highlights once again, it highlights how great our penalty kill has been. That's maybe the one bright spot of tonight and the rest of the series. Like, our PK has been phenomenal, but like, at some point these refs have got it. Like, when Marchand's coming down the slot with a stick hanging out of his arm, like, come on. And you know, if that's probably anyone but Brad Marchand, that whistle is getting blown. So that one pissed me off. But again, I don't want to harp on just those things because there's no way it should have even got to that. But there were a couple pretty bad blatant calls.
Yeah. Well, and to me, while it might not be quite as bad as what the MLB is dealing with some of their officiating and umpiring, it's been this bad, this consistent that there needs to be a way, like an accountability, a voted on, hey, bottom 10, you're sent down to a smaller division. Like, I know that's what they're taught. Like, that's what a lot of the guys in baseball are calling for right now. Like, hey, if you're in the bottom 10% of umpires, like, you're going down to the minors. Like, you need to work on your shit in a place that doesn't matter because you're absolutely blowing this when it counts. And it's the same kind of thing. It's hey, we've been saying it all series. I'm also agreeing, like, the Bruins have gotten bullshit calls in their favor that I am not a fan of. That I'm not a fan of. That has happened too. And I'm not saying, like, oh, well, then it makes it out. I was like, no. Like, this is the playoffs. Like, get that shit out of here when it's so skewed one versus the other. Like, we've gotten the benefit of some phantom shit, but we've been on the wrong end of a lot of things way more often. And it's just, where's the accountability? Like, these guys are going to go ref in the Eastern semis next and, like, do whatever they do up there and then do it in the Eastern finals and then do it in the Stanley Cup. Like, why are we okay with just being so bad?
And it's just like, I'm watching other series that are just like it's like not even close. I mean, the Dallas and Vegas series, they're beating the shit out of each other.
Right. They're just letting it go. Slobber knocker. It's a slobber knocker going on. None of these guys can go home at night because they've got black eyes and bruised lips. Like,
yeah.
And then we've got Tyler Bertuzzi bitch flailing like a silly salmon as soon as he feels a little contact. And then when it happens the other end, it's playoff defense in front of the net, man.
Yeah, not to mention then the refs tackling our fucking players on the ice too. I don't know what that was.
Tackled. Oh,
like, insane. I think that's the third one that's been called on Bertuzzi, the cross-checking in the slot, which is fucking nutty. It's like, at one point, don't you get Bertuzzi for, like, you know, embellishment?
And
he's done it 3 times in one series.
Ridiculous. Well, and the only thing I can say to that is how, like, we said this before the playoffs. You're like, hey, if things start going one way, you'll hear in the press, like, a coach will come out and be like, and they'll usually get it. Where the fuck is Jim Montgomery, huh? Where the fuck is Jim Montgomery?
Well, actually, you weren't watching the Nesson feed. He was fucking chirping the shit out of the refs. The refs are just not.
You got to do it in the press. You got to do it in the press. It doesn't matter what you do on the ice. That doesn't matter. They don't give a shit then. It's when the press writes about it and it's talked about that they start being like, oh shit, eyes are going to be on us. They know nobody can actually hear what Jim Montgomery's saying in game. He can yell at them all he wants. He can insult them all he wants. It's when the day after it's like, hey, I thought this was some bullshit, and I'll take the fine for saying bullshit at the official press conference. I thought this was bullshit. They did this, this, and this, and I didn't like it. All of a sudden, when that happens the next game, you don't see this, this, and this going for that side. You see this, this, and this going for the other side. And I just don't think Montgomery's doing jack shit.
Yeah, I feel like the refs are being ridiculous. Like, McAvoy went up to them after the end of the period that, like, all that chaos happened and went to talk to the ref, and the ref just skated away from him and got off the ice. Like, they're not even giving the players the common courtesy to have a conversation about what's going on either. So Very
From an
interesting.
alternate captain, a guy that has every right to go and just ask, like, hey, what were you seeing there? Hey, what was this? Hey, what was, so I can tell my guys, hey, be careful with your stick doing this, or hey, like whatever. Like what were you calling that? Like, where did you see that? No, we're just gonna skate off because boy, I really think that my car is getting, beaten on right now.
Yeah, not good. I really hope Carlo or Peak or both are ready for Thursday, because that would be tough to roll with someone like Grizzly. Hoping Shatton.
Again.
I mean, I think Shattenkirk's out there regardless, but hopefully Carlo's okay and we can just roll with Shattenkirk and Carlo.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. We'll keep an eye on that. No, I mean, to wrap shit up, I mean that this was a dumb loss. This was dumb.
Awful.
This was dumb. Shouldn't happen. Didn't need to happen.
It was one I felt like I was going to be calling you, going, "Damn, we fucking stole that game! Like, thank God we just buried it and ended this."
Agreed. I played it out.
I thought we were going to pull it off. To be fair, from moment one, I was like, "We're going to lose this game bad." So like, I kept slowly getting. They just slowly grabbed my heart, and they're like, "Come on, we're going to do this. We're going to do this," and then they just fucking crushed it at the end. So yeah, not good. They baited me into thinking we actually had hope in that game, and we never did.
Yeah, we lost a game we didn't deserve to win, but had the opportunity to steal. I think Jeremy Swayman did his damnedest to steal it for us. I don't think this is on him whatsoever. And now now it's gut check time. To be perfectly honest, now it's gut check time, because if you lose up in Toronto, they come down for Game 7 with all the momentum. The Garden's going to be nervous, not excited. We've been there. We've been there in elimination games. The Garden doesn't start thinking we're going to win. It is a prove us we're not going to lose crowd.
Yeah.
Like in that situation. In tonight's 100%. situation, they started with we're gonna rain goals all over you, and then we didn't, and we quickly turned. Like, if the Garden crowd shows up again in round one, it is going to be a show me you're going to fucking win, not a we're going to help you win. And that I'm worried about the Bruins mentality. So we've got to go out there on Thursday. We've got to win. To me, it's a must-win game.
I agree. I think we have to win just because of the past recent history of us kind of collapsing in games back at TD Garden.
We have to.
And we have all the reason to. I feel like we just got to come out and do it, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, we got to do it. And we'll see Thursday whether or not any roster adjustments are made. Hopefully we get an update on the Carlo injury status. Really, hopefully it's nothing too bad. But we just kind of got to wait and see on that. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
As much as I wish we won this game, I feel like it in the long run it could go a long way. Like, anytime there's adversity, it gives you an opportunity to come back and bury it, right? And now we can reference that going, and if we do win Thursday, we can go back and say, look, we hit a bump in that series. So if they hit a bump in the next series, it's wash your hands clean and go out to the next game. Because in reality, you got to get rid of these ones. Me and you can sit here and sour in it for the next 2 days. The players can't do that. They need to wash this one out of their minds, and move on to the next, and just basically say, hey, we didn't give the effort. Let's go give the effort we should have gave on Tuesday night tonight. And that starts Thursday. I think it's not released yet, but I think 7 or 8 o'clock, obviously.
Yep.
So we'll be live after that one, hopefully in a better spirit. Hopefully taking some celebration shots.
It's our punishment as fans to stew in it for the next 48 hours, but you're right. The players can't. The players have already got to be looking at the next game as 0-0. Just go win one hockey game. Go win one hockey game. Like that. That's all this is. This is one hockey game. This is a road hockey game. Just go out there, play hard, and win it. They're going to be loud. All right. Well, everyone is going to be like, all right, this is one game. Just go out and win one game. You are absolutely right. We will be live after that. Hopefully, taking some celebratory shots. I'd like to drink a lot more than I did for this one. Only got one shot out of it. That was, not great. So I will.
I'm gonna go buy a new bottle of Jaeger just to set some good mojo for Thursday.
All right, good mojo. You know what?
Hopefully, we need a lot of it.
I'll do the same. We'll start fresh and we'll go from there.
All right, Patty. Do this again Thursday.
Yep. Good job by you.
All right.